Hello and welcome into another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. We are connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. Alex Donno alongside Jerry Mancini. We're kicking it old school without the bells and whistles like the new graphics we've had for the last couple of months. Because Jerry knows this. I was talking to Jerry the last couple of days. My laptop is in the shop because I needed a new battery. Of course, they didn't have it in stock, so it's a whole thing. I'm going to be like a week without my laptop. And so I am using a replacement laptop. I'm pretty sure this is the original laptop. Like this is the very machine that Steve Jobs sent the first email on. My history may be a little bit off on that. Like this thing is so freaking slow and bad. So hopefully my connection holds up. So Jerry, I want to open up with this, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Dybala reports and the Dybala rumors. I do want to say, let me start off with a sincere congratulations to Roma for reaching a European final. They did. Beautiful goal by Tammy Abraham today. Beautiful goal on a header off of a corner to advance past Leicester, and they're going to take on Feyenoord in the UEFA Conference League final. But here's where I'm going to get Jerry a little bit more engaged in the conversation. So I had to. I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be this guy. I'm going to sound like such a hater, okay? But I literally laughed out loud about 20, 30 minutes ago. I was watching post-game interviews from Mourinho and from Tammy Abraham, who scored the goal, the decisive goal. And I literally laughed out loud when I'm watching Tammy talking about Roma advancing to the Conference League final. And he said, this is something that Roma fans have been dreaming about for a long, long time. And like, I know Roma don't win a lot of trophies, but they were just in a Champions League semifinal like 4 years ago. And now the Conference League. And listen, he seems like a great guy. Awesome goal he scored today again. But how can I not banter when he comes out and talks about reaching the Conference League final as a moment that Roma fans have been dreaming about for a long time? Your thoughts, Jerry?
They haven't won a bonsai tree in the last 13 years, and it's just disappointing me because I know my banter is going to go out the window if they win the finals. I have no more ammo anymore.
At the end of it's still the Conference League, right?
Yeah, but I'm not going to go that level. I'm not going to go that level because I could be Lazio, who goes in the Conference League next year, and all of a sudden, if they were to go to the finals, it's like it would be vice versa. Lazio fans say they wouldn't be cheering, they wouldn't be acting like they're going to win a trophy, and they wouldn't be pumping it up. Bullshit, man. I refuse to banter Roma that they won. They're in the finals. I refuse to banter them because they beat easy opponents. I refuse to down talk them in any way because at the end of the day, this was a tournament that was supposed to help clubs like Roma who are in a difficult situation money-wise. The fact that they don't have a deep squad like other teams in Serie A, say, the rebuilding, all that, and it's a tournament to balance out these kind of teams that have their own league of its own. Not they go into Europa League and they get slaughtered 7-1 against some other team, right? So there's supposed to be like a balance between the three trophies, and I think for the most part, like it seems pretty decent. I know the teams that they beat aren't the greatest, but it is what it is. Like they Tottenham didn't get out of their group. They didn't freaking they didn't make it.
So they did have to get through an English team, en route to the final. So it's not like they're only playing teams from Scandinavia.
Trophy's a trophy at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what you win.
And I totally agree. Like I a couple of years ago, I know that like a lot of times when your team is playing like in Conference League didn't even exist till this year, but even like sometimes when your team is playing in like Europa League round of 32, it's like whatever, I don't even really care if we win or lose. But dude, a couple of years ago when Inter got all the way to the Europa League final and then they freaking pissed it against Sevilla when they got all the way to the Europa League final. Like I wanted to win that game. Like I was pumped about it. So even if you think, oh, this is not Champions League, it's not as big of a deal, and like Conference League is not even Europa League, but winning a big time European, big time, but winning a European tournament like that, it's definitely something to be proud of, especially for a club that's had a lot of ups and downs domestically this year.
No, for sure. And as much as I banter them, I think that when you really look at it, Mourinho's done a better job than freaking Sarri at the end of the day. He has him in a top 6 position. He's kept him competitive. I think for the most part, Roma's looked more decent in most of their matches compared to Lazio, where they've really turned off a lot of games. Roma seems more invested into buying players, trying to kind of increase the squad. I know people are going to say they're a bigger team market-wise, all that stuff. Hey, guess what? They're pumping money in. They're figuring it out. They got investors. They got an owner. Maybe it's time Latito sells the club because maybe he's taken this club as far as it could go under his regime. And hey, no disrespect to him. I think he's done a great job considering that he's not a rich owner, but he took over a team that was very in debt. Times are changing. He needs to pump money into the club. And it shouldn't always have to be revolved around selling a player in order to basically get it going. I know that's always the easiest way, but there are other streams you can try in order to fund. I'm not the expert, but at the end of the day, Roma's in the finals, and no other Italian team is doing anything to represent their country.
Yeah,
so
that's true. They're the last one standing.
Yeah, we can say I'm not gonna go on social media, Twitter tomorrow and say, hey, what's it called? Oh, they're the first Conference League winner, blah blah blah. Like, what about if Lazio wins the next year? Like, well, it's just it's so hypocritical, right?
That's
so, and Florida just scored.
They did. Oh, thank God. See, I'm like, my stream is like 30 seconds behind you. Oh, there it is. I see it. We're multitasking. We're watching hockey and we're talking about calcio at the same time.
So yeah,
how are your Oilers doing, by the way? Because I don't stay up late enough to watch Edmonton because they always start at like 10:30. I'm usually in bed around that time.
Should be 2-0 Oilers right now. They won 6-0 last night in Game 2. So
nice.
I'm way more invested into hockey right now than I am for football. I still watch football. Don't get me wrong, guys. But
I know you do. I see your tweets all the time.
My love is for hockey, man, since I was a kid. Yeah, I'm just happy I'm watching it again. I was so dialed into football that I kind of drifted away. My wife was actually happy the other day. She's like, "This is the guy who I married when I first met you. The guy who loved hockey, not football."
So she fell in love with you for your hockey?
Well, that's what she knew me for when I first met her, right? That's all I watched, and like, I'm so happy I'm watching it again. I just don't want to spend all my weekend just watching 10 games of football anymore, man. Like I always say, I repeat myself a lot, but like tomorrow I won't be able to watch Inter because I have a hair appointment for 1:30 because I got a wedding on Saturday. So
at least you have hair, man. Enjoy that.
Oh no, it's coming off. But yeah, we're drifting away. But yeah, I guess that yeah. Roma, they're in the finals. I don't know who the heck they're playing. I don't know.
Feyenoord.
Yeah, they're from the Dutch league, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
somewhere north of Italy. That's all I know. They're in a country north of Italy.
So, like, but I guess you want to talk about Dybala, right?
I do. So, it's. I mean, listen. I tend to believe that he is going to wind up at Inter because that's what people who know this stuff better than me and have sources have been telling me for a couple of weeks that they believe he will arrive. You know me, Jerry. We've talked about Dybala a few times over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, it's quote unquote free transfer to Bosman. I don't think his wages are really the best investment because he's injured so much. And I just think that high wages like that, a club like Inter with financial challenges could probably better spend elsewhere. I don't deny if their medical staff, because Inter do have a very good medical staff. They couldn't help Stefano Sensi, but they can help most anybody else. If the medical staff can keep him on the pitch, I think he could be electric in the right partnership. But the thing is, I'm wondering, what's your temperature on Dybala? Because midweek, it was reported by certain Italian sources that he's chosen his club. He's coming Inter, free transfer. He's going to sign with Inter. You know, we know he's got a good relationship with Beppe Marotta. there's been a little bit of pushback over the last 24 hours or so. I think Fabrizio Romano, your buddy, did say something about how, like, it's not done. Nothing has been agreed to yet. And for what it's worth, is it 2-0? Okay. And for what it's worth, Dybala's agent has come out and said, they've not agreed with Inter or any club abroad, which has kind of put some of these English clubs on alert that may want to like swoop in and make a big bid. But honestly, I can't, Jerry, and I'm not saying that it's a done deal for sure that he's coming Inter, but I can't believe an agent at this stage in the season, because what is Dybala's agent trying to do? He wants to try and deflect, right? Because Dybala's got 4 games left in a Juventus shirt, including a game against Inter for the Copa final, right? So I think the last thing Dybala and his agent want out there is confirmation that he's going to sign with the most hated rival of the club that he's currently at. Because, right, if they don't deflect on this, like if the agent comes out and is like, oh, yeah, we like Inter's offer, he's going to sign with Inter, that's going to make Dybala, and I'm sure he's probably going to get jeered anyway, just for the speculation out there. But if they were to confirm it, that he is planning to sign with Inter, it's going to be relentless, and rightfully so, right? Because if the shoe was on the other foot, if there was an Inter player that was about to sign for Juve on a free, yeah, they would give him hell at the San Siro the same way they're gonna give Dybala hell at the J. So it's kind of the agent's job to deflect some of that. So I can't take the agent seriously, because he has a lot of incentive just to say, oh, no, nothing's agreed to, and he went out of his way to say, and he is committed to Juventus for the rest of this season. So I'm not saying for sure it's happening, but you can't take what the agent said and say, oh yeah, he's not going to Inter, because agents need to lie in that spot, Jerry.
No, for sure. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna hear 15 different scenarios of players, because they can't sign officially till, I believe it's the end of June, if I'm not mistaken. June something. Last day of June or first day of July or something like that.
Yeah, I think the first day of July.
Yeah, something like that. So it doesn't really matter, because you're going to hear so many mixed reports that all you can get really is a verbal agreement.
Right.
That's all people are giving right now.
Well, you can sign like the pre-contract, because that's what I remember. Your guy De Vrij did that. When he left Lazio for Inter. And then it got leaked by the media that he'd signed the pre-contract, and that's why like everyone at Lazio knew he was leaving there. So you can sign something, but it's not completely official until the window opens.
Yeah, I think he's going to Inter. That video that was streaming today was a fan telling Dybala not to leave, don't go to Inter, and he's smiling. His response is he's smiling. And
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he smiles, and basically it's like an expression where, yeah, I've already made my decision that I'm going to Inter. Unless he was really happy because of the response that he's getting from the fans, and like he's enjoying the attention that the fans don't want him to leave. But I don't know, man. I like it. I like Dybala going to Inter for many reasons. He's a versatile player who can play in different roles. He can play an attacking midfielder. He can play right wing. He can play a second striker. He can play as a striker. I think that he gives Inzaghi a lot of flexibility, and he can partner up with either Lautaro Martinez or Joaquin Correa, given the fact that they play together at with Argentina. So I think there's the chemistry there, and the fact that they have some history. With Dybala, the injuries always has been a concern, but I think there's a big point here. I think this is the most important factor: is the conditioning, the training staff of Inter, and their ability to keep their players healthy. For the most part, I know Correa is an exception. That is not on Inter. That is a guy who just can't stay healthy in general. Aside from Correa, I think that a lot of their players have managed to stay fit and play several games in a very good condition, like physically. So guys like Brozovic, who just got his first injury and who knows how long he's been out for. Like, I don't remember the last time that guy was out. Guys like De Vrij who have been consistent for like 2-3 years now without picking up injuries. Skriniar who plays on a consistent basis. So,
but Barella, I mean, that guy's made of concrete. I mean, which that may have more to do with him than the training staff. But it's like it seems like every other game, Barella takes a tumble or he gets fouled, and it's like, oh my god, this looks bad. This looks really bad. 30 seconds later, he's fine. It's like, okay, all right.
Well, exactly, right? So, I just think it's a slap in the face to Juve. If he takes less money to join a rival club, and I don't know, he should have just stayed. But I think there's more behind it. I don't think either side really handled this business right. Where Juve canceled meetings on multiple occasions last minute, and I thought that's not very appropriate. But then it seems as if his camp at times kind of balled them too, and like their demands were ridiculous.
And you
too,
know what?
right?
I've heard that's one of the reports that's out there with Inter, and why it's like even the people who think it's going to happen are like, it's not 100% agreed to yet, because they're a little bit frustrated with dealing with his agents, because his agents, and listen, this is probably good agenting at the end of the day. Like they feel like he's close to agreeing with Inter, but that the agents are still kind of encouraging other clubs to bid, which I can understand. If you're the club that's about to sign him, that's frustrating, but from his perspective and his agent's perspective, you're trying to get him the best possible financial deal, so they may be trying to leverage Inter for like every possible cent they can squeeze out of it. But yeah, I mean, listen, it was I know it was what, a couple 2-3 summers ago when he was, about to get swapped to Manchester United for Lukaku, which would have meant Lukaku would have gone to Juve instead of Inter that same summer. And then it hit a snag like very last minute. It was over. I think it was over the image rights. And they just couldn't come to an agreement with Manchester, so it blew up the entire deal. And as an Inter supporter, I was thankful for that, because it ended up hitting the green light for Lukaku to come to Inter. But yeah, I think there's been evidence in the past of like his agents being a little bit difficult to deal with.
No, for sure. So at the end of the day, whatever happens. But I know that Inter is not going to be kicking around for long. So, and it has to be within their budget. So
yeah,
I guess time will only tell what he decides on. But it seems as if Beppe Marotta is kind of determined to pluck a Juventini. So
I think so. I think revenge is part of it for sure. That would make it feel good. And then like and as far as their budget goes, and listen, it can be depressing with Inter, because I think they're going to have to make a big sale to fund their transfer market. It'll probably be whichever one of these players, or maybe more than one of these players, they can get the highest bid for. Like players like Lautaro has been, rumored to be on the market for this summer. I've even seen Bastoni's name thrown in there, which I would hate to see that guy go. Denzel Dumfries has been thrown in there. I think that the guy that would make the most sense, but the bids have to be there, right? I think selling Lautaro for a big profit, because it'd basically be all plus valenza. Like he's, completely amortized basically. So you'd be making pure profit on Lautaro, not as much on Dumfries, who you just signed last year, although you got him at a nice discount. I think they only paid like 18 million for him, and maybe they sell him for 35. That's a nice turnaround. But I think Lautaro would be the guy to sell, also because of his inconsistency. But then the problem there is, if you sell Lautaro to basically fund Dybala's wages, wouldn't you like to have them together, because they've got the rapport and the friendship of being Argentinian? Like, wouldn't you rather have the two of them on the team? It's like, so we're getting rid of Lautaro to bring in Dybala. It seems a little counterproductive,
I guess. But then you can say the same about Correa. But I guess that's actually worked out when you really think about it, what you're saying. So
yeah.
Well, now that they've actually been able to play a lot of games together, they're looking more comfortable up front, and it looks like that's been the better partnership compared to Dzeko. And no disrespect to Dzeko either, because he's done a great job. But I think we've already talked enough.
By the way, I want to say, I just want to sorry to cut you up, but I just want to say one thing before I forget it. I saw there was this meme going around in this Inter chat that I'm in. It just made me laugh so hard. Where it's a meme of Inzaghi telling Dzeko, "I'm gonna use you up like a bar of soap, like complete till it's all gone." Because that's basically what they've done. Like you got like a 35-year-old, and he's been really brilliant at times, Dzeko, but Inzaghi he's run the guy into the ground. He's used him up like a bar of soap.
You're funny. I'm so tired tonight, guys. Sorry. I want to before I forget, I want to shift to what I just saw right now, and I think Inter has a big decision to make this summer. And I know it sounds easier. Probably it sounds really easy, but Stefano Sensi. And again, he got hurt. I just read right now from Sempre Inter, and he's going to miss the game on Saturday versus Lazio due to a thigh injury.
He's always hurt?
He's missing one game, it says. So we don't know. I don't know how.
Well, no, with Sensi, you say he's missing one game. He misses 1 month. I know that there's not even a month left in the season, but that's how it goes with that guy.
Like, how long is this contract left for? Like, does he have 2 more years left, or?
I'm not sure. I know he's on a dry loan, so there's no option to buy or anything, but I'm not sure how much is left on the deal.
Who the hell is going to want to buy that guy when he can't stay healthy for 10 minutes?
Yeah, and another loan is their only option. I don't think they can sell him. Like I think you either bring him back and try to.
His contract expires.
When?
2024. So he's got.
Okay, well that's better because it's actually better to have more left on the deal, so that you you either you try to reintegrate him in the squad next year, and it's like. I love Sensi. Like if Sensi can just if he can just like sleep in a cryo chamber every night and just like, keep those hamstrings fresh somehow. If he could just have like 4 consecutive games to play to get into a rhythm, like the guy can be dynamite. So you either just bring him back for depth or you loan him out again. But yeah, he's unsellable right now, but it's better if you got 2 more years left on the deal. You hope that something goes well next year and then maybe you can sell him at the end of next season.
No, exactly. But the question is his health, man. I feel like this is a guy who's just going to eat up wages, and you have to hope that you're able to loan him out every season because I don't think anybody's going to buy him for what.
No. You see this question? That's funny.
Yeah, I saw Immobile's contract ends in 2026. He's got 4 more years left.
Wow. Because he renewed it not too long ago, right?
He wants to retire in Lazio.
He should like absolutely like either retire at Lazio or like I'm guessing Napoli's his boyhood club. Like either retire at Lazio or do like 1 season in Napoli or something. Like it's got to be one of those. Lazio being the preferred because that's it's his club.
I have no idea what the future of Lazio even holds, man. It is bad because on the one hand I see that. If Sarri stays, the likelihood of Savic being sold is like very, very probable. And then on the other hand, do you commit selling Savic for 80 million and risk buying players in the event that Sarri just might be there for 1 year because he hasn't renewed his contract and you don't know if he's staying beyond 1 more year? Like you invest all these players, you start doing something. Next thing you know, Sarri's gone. Is that the route you want to go? So like, there's 2 scenarios. I look at that and then I say, okay, so Sarri gets picked up by a foreign club, some English teams say, and he wants to go, and they're more ambitious. Say, I find that the whole situation surrounding Savic is much different now, because you have a manager who you need to please and need to invest in to make it more attractive. He goes, what's the situation now that Tito would rather lose Savic for nothing than sell him for 80? And like, that's just the way he is, a stubborn old man. I don't know, man. Like, this is the season Lazio needs to invest, but I think it has to be not just player sale. I think the more important thing, you can't just keep on relying on selling your best players. Losing, I don't know, Correa we sold. Okay, at the time I thought it was a bad deal for Lazio, but it's worked out. Like, in hindsight, I thought losing Correa was going to be very bad. Well, who else would you think about, like, who they've sold that has hurt them, or they didn't sell DeVry when they should have? That
Right.
hurt them. Lucas Biglia, we sold for $20 million. What did we do with that money? We sold Felipe Anderson for $41 million. What did we do with that money?
Well, they eventually brought him back.
Brought him back for $3 million.
Yeah.
I think, which is great. I have no issues with that. But
no, not at all.
We've made some big sales, and we sold Wesley Hoot, I think, for $10 million at the time, and or $5 or $10 million. Like, we sold all these guys to bring in garbage.
Well, that's the problem because Lazio, I guess, they've just been in a financial position where they're not selling players to fund purchases; they're selling players just to fund operations, right? I mean, that's kind of what Inter have to do now as well. Like, at least, I mean, they do reinvest some of the money, but like I can't remember the exact figures now because it's been almost a year. But like last summer, they brought in more from sales than they reinvested because they had to cover costs. They're going to do the same thing this year.
I just don't know what the future is, but there's I see like this. The Tito, I think he's done a great job with Lazio, but I also believe that the last couple of years have really slipped out of his hands. Like, yeah, look, Kaminovic. Nothing against Kaminovic. Besides this guy, he hasn't played a game yet. Like, I don't understand taking up money. Akro apparently cost $12 million. I don't know how the heck this even worked out, but like he was playing for Salernitana, and that was another thing that Tito was doing these dumb deals with Salernitana, and like it's like I don't know.
It had to be like some cook in the books, like somehow, right? For the transfer fees and all that when he owned both clubs. But we want to keep this one short because Jerry and I are both lacking sleep and we have hockey to watch. So I wanted to ask you, Jerry, before we wrap it up, as we look at the Scudetto race, and I do believe that and I hate to say it, but I do believe Milan will end up getting over the finish line because they're Inter would have to be perfect the rest of the way, final 3 matches. I know they look favorable on paper, but Inter's going to fuck up and drop points somewhere. I'm telling you.
No,
and I hope not. But and still, if Milan win 2 and draw 1, Inter can't catch them because Milan have the tiebreaker. Like, Milan have to lose a game or they have to draw twice. So it's just, I mean, there's no margin for error from Inter. But you look at for the Scudetto race for this weekend, and Inter actually play a Friday match. So be advised, I'm going to have to like shuffle around my own work schedule to watch it tomorrow. So Inter will host Empoli tomorrow. I do not think Inter will drop points in that game. Milan will travel to Verona. And I know that everyone is like pulling up, the old history of like how many times Verona have like cursed Milan over the years and like cost them titles and stuff. But I don't know. I just, there's something about how resourceful Milan have been, and they find a way to grind out goals, even going against the run of play sometimes. So I don't know. I obviously Milan are probably more likely to drop points on the road at Verona versus home against Empoli. And also for Inter, I'm getting worried about the Cagliari game, the following match day, because Cagliari are going to be really desperate to try to avoid relegation. But as far as like this weekend goes, Jerry, Inter home against Empoli, Milan away against Verona. What do you think happens in those matches? Does either team drop points?
I think Milan will tie Sunday against Verona. Who's home in that game?
Verona. They're home. It's at the Bentegori.
I like Verona. They'll steal points, and I think Inter should beat Empoli.
Yeah. If they don't deserve a Scudetto. And honestly, I would be more disappointed if Inter win their next 3 and they don't win it just because Milan keep winning. Then I'm going to look back at like the freaking Bologna game and just want to kill myself. But like if Inter don't take all 3 points against Empoli tomorrow, I'm going to get over that really quick because I'm going to say, you know what, you can't beat Empoli at home. You don't deserve to win a Scudetto, and that's it. Like I'd be more upset if they win out and don't win the Scudetto.
I still think Inter holds their own destiny, even though they're trailing by a point. And if Milan were to tie, they'd be screwed because of the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I just think outright I think that Milan have been fortunate to. I think the last game against Fiorentina was the first game where they actually played very well and deserved better. But before that, they weren't playing their greatest football. You're gonna play a very difficult Verona side. You still got to play Sassuolo, and there's somebody else in between that they have to play who's good too. Atalanta, that's right. And Atalanta,
They've been in such bad form though. Atalanta, it's like I don't think they're going to do anything.
Who's to say that? Football is different than North American sports and hockey because every night you play every other night. Say it always changes up. I think when you play once a week, your preparation is different, your mindset, the way you approach, formation, everything. It's just a different ball game. I think that Atalanta knows what's at stake here, and no one's going to be a pushover to let Milan just win a Scudetto just like that. Gasperini is going to be coming out wanting to finish a top 7 spot.
I want to see him dancing again. I want to see. You remember a couple of years ago when I can't remember what the score was. It was like 5-0 or something, and he was dancing. I want to see that again.
I'm gonna stick with my pick from the beginning of the season. It's Inter. So I said Inter. I'll stick with it. I'm not gonna change when the ship goes sinking. Every team goes through ups and downs. 3 games left. It's not like they're 9 points back. They're literally 2 points back of first. So like it's not. There's a lot of pressure on Milan. I think there's more pressure on Milan than there is on Inter because Inter has been in this situation, have won the Scudetto last year, and understand what it takes to win it because a lot of the core of the team is there. I know that Inzaghi does buckle under the pressure, but I think he's going to figure it out. I really do. I'll keep.
I don't know why I'm getting an FU from Lisi when I'm predicting his team to win a Scudetto. Like, does he think I'm trying some sort of voodoo? I don't know what he saw. I'm trying. I think Milan's going to win the Scudetto, and I'm getting an FU from the Milan fan in the chat. What did I do wrong? I don't understand. Oh man, but yeah, no, I don't know. I think both teams. I think both the Milan clubs will win this weekend. Any parting comments, Jerry, before we go to bed? I'm getting old. I need my sleep. I will watch the end of the Florida Panthers game first. But any parting comments?
No, I'm good. I think I'm done here. Yeah, I won't be watching the Lazio game on Saturday, unfortunately.
Really? Oh, wedding. You got the wedding, right?
Fucking weddings. God damn it, man. Lazio, like everyone plays this weekend. 9 o'clock game at 12. No, 12 o'clock would have screwed me too, but couldn't have been the 9 o'clock game. Had to be the 2:45 game on a Saturday. Couldn't play Sunday. Fuck's sakes, man.
Usually Lazio is always in the morning. Like that's the time they play in the afternoon.
I was like, what? My first, I might catch the second half, like late, depending on what time the wedding finishes. It's at 2 o'clock, but yeah, I give shit face at the wedding, Jerry. Yeah, the ceremony is at 2, and then
you're not gonna. There's no way you're gonna be finished because like the ceremony is gonna take like an hour, and then the reception is gonna take.
Not the actual wedding itself at the church. I don't know how long that takes. Half an hour.
Oh no, there's no way you're going to be done. Well, the actual wedding's going to take like at least 30 minutes, I think. And then you got there's a reception, right? You're not going to go home after the ceremony. There's a whole reception. There's no way you'll watch any of the game. No way.
Well, it's not a random wedding actually. It's my best friend actually.
So that's a big deal then.
It is a fucking big deal.
I didn't know that. You've been talking about going to a wedding. I didn't know it was your best friend.
Well, not fucking when Lazio plays, for fuck's sakes. It's the worst, man. I hate missing Lazio. I'll miss any game on a weekend. I can care less if Inter was playing Juventus tomorrow. But like if it's Lazio and Lazio can be playing fucking Crotone, I wouldn't care. I still want to watch.
Of course.
I don't care. Yeah. I just don't like missing Lazio games. But
dude, a lot of times I'll get more stressed. Like unless like they score a couple of early goals, and then you relax a little bit. But I sometimes get more stressed when Inter go up against like lower table teams because I'm just so nervous. Like, how are they going to screw it up, right? Because like sometimes when you're going up against like Juventus on the road or a Milan derby or something, like you're nervous, but at least you're like if we screw up, it's not like the end of the world. I felt worse after the Bologna loss. I think that I felt after the Derby loss to Milan a couple months ago. Like I felt worse after the Bologna with the Radu error. Like that was one of the worst days of my life. So bad. So bad.
Watching this fucking Florida game, and
oh man,
they're really picking up the pace. Florida,
good. They looked like crap the other day.
But yeah, I guess we'll end it there.
Yeah, we'll end it there. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And listen, Jerry, man, I love your journey, like seeing your tweets. You take these long walks and stuff, and I know you've been very open on the podcast about some of the things you've been struggling with, and like I just want people to know. I think it's really cool how you're so, because not everybody's like this, and different things work for different people, but I think that the fact that you're so like positive and open about what you've been going through, I think it does help other people, man. So I think it's really cool. And when you sent me a picture of that freaking fox out there sleeping on the roof of some shed, I was like, wow, that's what they have going on in Canada. You got the real wilderness up there.
Oh, it's my backyard. Well, that's my backyard to the left. That guy sleeps on 3 different sheds in our backyard. That's the guy, if anybody watched the Serie A sit down on Sunday, there was a fox that ran across the street, and he is now in my backyard sleeping. And every night I have a fox who literally sleeps in the morning or at night and howls, or I don't know what the heck they do. And they wake me up at 3 in the morning. They make these crazy fucking noises. I don't understand what they're doing, but
it's probably a mating call. Like he's trying to get some female fox to like come out there and see him, you know?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, man, but yeah, you know what? I've decided that I would always love bantering, but I noticed that sometimes people don't take it don't take it. They take it very serious, or they get out of line. It's just like not worth it.
Mhm.
So I've really stuck to just bantering Roma, not even Juve anymore. And I find that lately I've been more positive about a lot of teams and just looking at the better than the negative. And I think that it's been more engaging, not just for myself, but for other people who kind of discussing and kind of engage into the actual conversations instead of people bashing each other. So
yeah,
I guess I'm trying to make a negative into a positive, and trying to use the platform in its best possible way. So yeah, like today I seen a lot of people bantering Roma at the Conference League, and people were bantering Jose Mourinho, crying. Oh, Mourinho cried over a Conference League. I'm like, the guy's human. Like at the end of the day, I'm not gonna insult him because he cried.
But also, like the thing about Mourinho is he's won trebles before, so it's like he's earned the right to cry whenever he wants to. Because like you can't look at Mourinho and say, oh, what has this guy ever done? And now he's gonna cry for a Conference League game. But it's like, oh, he's won trebles before. Like he's won Champions League before. With multiple different clubs. Like he can cry whenever he wants to, man. Like don't worry about it. If he wants to cry at the end of Toy Story 3 like I did, that's his right. We'll wrap it up on that note. A huge shout out to Jerry. Huge shout out to Cartel, Emiliano, Lisi, George Rodriguez, our pal. Anybody else I may have missed who was in the live chat. We will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast.